High Five Facts presents true stories behind horror movies. Horror movies play on the viewer's fears and nightmares. They are designed to scare you and leave you sleeping with an eye open. They captivate you from the start to the finish. Most of the time, you will realize that these movies are not true, making you breathe a sigh of relief. But what happens when you find out that these movies were based on true stories? Here are 5 true stories behind horror movies. Number 5. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. In the year 2005. The Exorcism of Emily Rose is a horror movie that was produced in 2005 starring Linney and Tom Wilkinson. The horror movie is based on the story of Anneliese Michel, a German woman born on the 21st of September 1952. Anneliese Michel began to experience convulsions when she was just 17 years old. She was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy, and soon enough, she's suffering from depression and considered suicide. It was also believed that she heard devilish voices, damning her while she was praying. The treatment at the psychiatric hospital did not help her hallucination. Being the religious person she was, she attributed it to demonic possession. An older woman, who accompanied Anneliese, noticed that she would avoid walking by images of Jesus. She also avoided drinking holy water. Her family asked the priest for an exorcism, but he declined their request, informing them that an exorcism required the bishop's permission. Anneliese's case worsened from aggression and self-injury. She would lick her own urine and eat flies. 67 exorcism sessions were performed on her, each lasting up to 4 hours, over the course of 10 months. On July 1, 1976, Michel died in her home. The autopsy showed that she had suffered from severe dehydration and malnourishment, as well as pneumonia and fever. Prior to her death, she refused to eat, believing that it would get rid of Satan's influence on her. She weighed 68 pounds at the time of her death, and suffered from broken knees. Her last words were, "Mother, I'm afraid." Number 4. Psycho. In the year 1998. The 1998 American horror movie is inspired by the Wisconsin serial killer Ed Gein. He was born in 1906 in rural Wisconsin and was raised alongside his older brother Henry Gein. Their mother, Augusta Gein, had prohibited her sons from the outside world. Had only left the farm to attend school. Henry Gein often spoke ill of their mother around Ed, but the younger brother always defended her. On May 16, 1944, the farm caught on fire, which drew the attention of the local fire department. After the fire, Ed reported his brother missing. He was found dead with bruises on his head. Augusta died on December 1945 due to a stroke. After her death, he became obsessed with dead people. He admitted to exhuming 9 bodies and denied having sex with any of them. He was arraigned of first-degree murder, where he pleaded not guilty by the reason of insanity. He spent the rest of his life in a mental hospital. Number 3. The Possession. In the year 2012. The Possession was another movie inspired by real-life events. The movie, released in 2012, is based on the haunted book box. The original story starts with the listing of an old wine box on eBay for $1. It ended up selling for $300 by a buyer called Kevin Manis. The box belonged to a Holocaust survivor who was the only person in her family to survive. Before Manis could arrive home with the box, he received a call from an employee who informed him that someone was vandalizing his shop. He didn't find the person who did that, and the employee who informed him quit his job and never appeared again. Manis decided to give the box as a gift for his mother for her birthday. After receiving the box, she had a stroke and lost the ability to speak. Kevin Manis tried gifting the box to any of his friends or family, but they all ended up giving it back to him. They claimed that they noticed the smell of cat urine and jasmine while loaning the box. All people who were gifted the box, including Kevin himself, suffered from the same nightmare where their friends would turn into a demon and beat them to a pulp. Currently, the box is in the hands of a university museum curator. Number 2. When the Lights Went Out. In the year 2012. When the Lights Went Out is a 2012 horror film. The movie's story is loosely based on a poltergeist haunting known as the Black Monk of Pontefract. Pat Holden, the director of the movie, used to hear his mother's stories about her encounters with the poltergeist. Renee Holden, Pat's mother, was known among her friends for her psychic abilities. She was interested in anything supernatural. When her sister-in-law told her about the supernatural occurring in Pontefract Council House, she was determined to see the paranormal activities. Pat Holden recalls that the poltergeist would throw things around, make noises and create water puddles. One night, they carried out an experiment to test its powers. They placed eggs in a wooden box and these eggs started flying and smashing on the floor. The Pontefract poltergeist, also known as the Black Monk, became a cause célèbre among poltergeist chasers. Number 1. The Conjuring in the year 2013. The Conjuring is an American supernatural horror movie produced in 2013. It is based on the story of Roger Perron and his wife Carolyn, who moved into their Rhode Island home in 1970. They had 5 daughters, Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cynthia, and April. On the first day on living in their new home, they experienced bizarre occurrences such as furniture moving or whispers throughout the house. The ghosts were harmless to them, except for one, Bathsheba Thayer. Thayer was born in Rhode Island in 1812. On March 10, 1844, she married Judson Sherman. They both had a son, Herbert L. Sherman, who was born when Bathsheba was 37 years old. It was believed that she had 3 other children, none of whom did not survive and died at a young age. Suspicion grew when one of her babies died. When the baby was examined, the cause of death was due to a large needle that had been impaled at the base of the baby's skull. The people in her town believed that she was sacrificing her children to the devil. Bathsheba died of old age on May 25, 1885. The parents were convinced that the spirit of Bathsheba was haunting their house. They had encountered her a few times. Her attention was mainly on Carolyn, the wife. She also had a thing for Roger, touching him inappropriately when he was alone. The parents asked for help from Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were paranormal investigators. In 1980, the parents finally sold their home and moved away. Their daughter, Andrea, wrote a book about their experience. To this day, the house still stands. Thanks for watching this video, and if you want to get my reply in top 5 comment, then just hit the button subscribe and let me know you subscribed. Just write down and comment I subscribed and I will try to reply as many as I can.